Korean War Memorial is in San Francisco on Lincoln Boulevard in Memorial Park.
The Korean War Memorial in San Francisco was dedicated on August 1st, 2016.
The War Memorial was placed in San Francisco is to commemorate the losses and to educate future generations on the history of the Korean War.
What were your initial feelings when you had to enlist in the Korean War? You need to speak a little louder.
Yeah. What is your question again?
What were your initial feelings when you knew you had to enlist in the Korean War?
I didn't have to enlist. I enlisted in the Marine Corps. I had been to college after high school, and I was given a scholarship, and I was at St. Francis College in Loretta, Pennsylvania, and I didn't have the money to continue paying the expenses because my sister was in school, in college as well. So, and it was, my mother was by herself. So that's the reason that I left college. But I went into the Marine Corps still at 18 years old.
And at the time, what did your friends and family think about you going to war?
Well, my mother was happy. She was very pleased. As a matter of fact, during the war, she started the Marine Mothers Association, Korean War, and she was delighted. My father had passed away, and so he was an Army veteran. So he was a World War I veteran, and he had been gassed in that war, and he passed away in his early youth. But there was nothing but affirmative indications by my family.
They were not scared of you, or they were not worried?
Well, they were concerned, of course. You know, they were concerned that we were going to lose our lives. But 37,000 people perished during the war, and they were killed in action. So the Marines only constituted about 5,000 Marines were killed. But bear in mind, you know, that the Marines only constituted 8% of the total UN forces in that war. 8%. But of the medals of honor that were awarded by the government, they amounted to, of 149 medals, 38 were for Marines. So that shows you, and 38% out of 149, that's incredible. But and I don't want anyone to feel that it's said to hurt somebody. The Army, the doggies, they did all right. And of course, the Navy's part of the Marine Corps. The Marine Corps is part of the Navy. And then the Air Force one, I think they had 2. And the Coasties, they didn't have any medals of honor. But we participated, if you will. You know, we saved the Busan perimeter. General MacArthur had to have an initial address to the Northern California, or Northern Korea, effort, and we stopped them. You know, we only had one regiment there, the 5th Regiment. I was in the 7th Regiment, and we didn't join them until later when we made the landing at Incheon, again pursuant to the needs of General MacArthur. But then we not only took, Incheon, we took Seoul, and then MacArthur sent us over to the other side of the country, to make another landing, which we did, and we landed in northern Korea, but there was no landing similar to Incheon, but we went up into the Chosin Reservoir. And are you familiar with the Chosin Reservoir?
I'm not familiar with the Chosin Reservoir.
Well, the Chosin Reservoir, that was controlled completely by the Chinese, and they had sent down hordes of Chinese troops to face and to wipe out the United States Marine Corps. But the 1st Marine Division was complete at that time, and it constituted about, with the 5th Regiment and 7th Regiment, we were fighting hundreds of thousands of Chinese troops. And the Chinese lost in that Korean War 500,000. 500,000 troops were killed. And they just kept coming, and we kept killing them.
Wow.
And then we went to the other side of the coast after that, Operation Bumblebee, and then we fought them in Seoul, and we fought the Chinese at that time. But when we were fighting on the east coast of Korea, we were fighting mainly the North Koreans. Yeah.
All right, so for our next question, is there anybody you met during the war and your experience in Korea that you really remember them?
Oh yeah, yeah. They remained friends, until they passed away. But I'm the only one that was from my squad. I was the squad leader when I left, and the whole squad was wiped out. But that happened a month or two. They may have been in two different battles, but it was on the East Coast, and I know people who fought in those battles, and they've been my friends, since I got to know them.
For our next question, can you describe your most memorable operation or battle you had during the Korean War?
Yeah, the operation would be the fight at the Korean, it was called the Spotlight, and it was at the Battle of the Bunker Hill. No, it was, what happened, it was the Battle of the Punch Bowl. The Punch Bowl is on the east coast of Korea, but it was the last major offensive of the war, and we fought with great valor, and it was a complete victory on the part of the Marines, and there were, as I said, 5 principal battles. That was the last principal one. It was a major offensive, and one of the persons that was involved in that was Pete McCloskey, and Pete McCloskey was a U.S. Senator from here in California, and he was awarded the Navy Cross for that participation in that battle. And he was a great man, and he was the first president of the Korean War Memorial. And the Korean War Memorial, we just completed building out at the Presidio, and that telescope there, you see that telescope? That's zeroed in on the Presidio Korean War Memorial, which we built. Took us 7 years to raise the money to build that, but we were successful in raising the money, and the Koreans celebrated it yesterday, and that's why they awarded me these different things. Yep.
That's amazing. And how do you think that the Korean War affected Korea and its people? What impact did it have on Korea?
It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. I fought the whole war over there for over a year, and I stood on the bow of the ship at Incheon, and I was going home to New Jersey, where we were living at the time, where my mother was living. And I stood on the bow of the ship, and I thought to myself, the country was leveled. The country was obliterated. There was nothing left. It was flat. You know, in Seoul, they had a few buildings there, but everything was so out of whack. And I said to myself, you know, it's going to be 50 years before they're able to come back.